Thank you very much. So financial independence is what we'll be talking about tonight. Yeah, welcome. And I want to say straight up, let's get into it quickly, right? This thing always generate a lot of questions, right? So that we can take on questions and we can then solve a lot of problems at the end of the day. I like you to ask questions. Feel free to ask questions. You can drop some in the chat. Some you can drop in the chat. Some we would have to you can ask me live, right? Um, Physically. You understand what I'm saying? So we will interact and feel free. I'm going to ask you some questions, but let's get on to it quickly. So the information provided in this communication is for information purposes only. It shouldn't be construed as financial advice. If you should consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment or financial decisions. I need to put this disclaimer out here. The things I'm sharing with you today are I know you want to learn how to make dollars. I know you want to learn what's the next investment rate, right? To put my money, and you're going to multiply. Hmm? I know sometimes people just want to put their money somewhere. Hey, just assure me if I put my money in this venture, in this investment, um, my 20,000 will suddenly become 20 million, right? In 2 weeks. Right? People want those kind of things because many times we just want someone to take the responsibility for us and pass the information that we need, right? Without necessarily having to do the work ourselves. I think that you would need to um, calm down, understand that finance thrives on knowledge, right? Finance thrives on knowledge. And so the information I'm giving you should not be construed as financial advice, first of all. If you need to then make deeper investments, you need to talk to a financial advisor, right? It's important to realize that you will not you won't live a life that is better than you. No, you won't. And by you, I mean the volume of reinvention that has taken place as a result of knowledge that you have. You understand what I'm saying? So you need knowledge, you need insights to drive the quality of life that you live, right? So my goal tonight is to give you what we call first principles. I'm not selling a wonder bank. I'm not selling a product. I'm not doing any of those things. I just want to share with you principles that even if someone comes to teach you how to earn in dollars and you're not aware of them, you will perpetuate poverty at a higher scale, right? It's good to learn how to earn in dollars. It's good to learn how to make more money and all those kind of things. Very important. But then if you do not understand the first principles, you can't build effectively on them. And those are really the things we want to talk about this evening. Now, so financial independence, what it is and what it is not, right? Financial independence is several years ago. Uh, he has not seen reason to move out of that property because, and when you ask him, he says he has all he needs in that house. I know people who don't even have as much, right? But the kind of things in their head that they intend to do with money is just to squander, essentially, to pepper them, right? And squander. There is purpose attached to wealth. That's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. So it's freedom from financial worries. It's passive income streams, right? Rent, royalties, return on investment. Passive income streams refers to uh, income streams where you're not essentially um, working actively for money to come in. Now, that doesn't mean you're not working. It would work. In the words of Dr. Miles Monroe, there is work, there is job, right? Your job puts it's you earn a living at your job. You build a life, right? At your work, right? Your work is your assignment, is purpose, right? And sometimes passive income streams allows you focus, right? Focus on the things that you have to do, allows you focus on these things. In fact, essentially, that's why if you get this wealth thing correctly, what you will have done is that for generations to come, your children, your grandchildren might not necessarily have to work afresh in terms of creation of wealth. What they might need to do might just be multiplication. You know, when the Bible says we are co-creators with God, what God really did at creation was that God created certain things once, just once, right? And when He created them once, the principle is multiplication. The Bible says that He planted seeds, seed, um, and these trees had seed bearing fruit, right? Or fruit rather, fruit bearing seed, forgive me. So these fruits were bearing seeds inside of them. Right. And as small as a seed is, you can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of seeds and trees and forests inside a seed. Right. Um, 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 that's the way it works. So passive incomes, right? Um, it means flexibility and choices, right? Financial independence means flexibility and choices. You can make certain choices. You can choose what happens with your greatest resource on earth, which is your time, right? And it affords you a lot of flexibility. Movement is easier. Things you can focus on things that are really important. If we do a survey tonight, many of you would, if you get the same amount, you would, for whatever it is that you do, you will not be doing what you do right now, right? So savings and investments is retirement on your own terms, all right? Retirement on your own terms. It's it's financial independence. But it's not that there will be no financial responsibilities. No, 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 1,000 times. So I remember one time that we were talking about this, and somebody said, okay, and house rent is a liability as well. And I said, really? How can house rent be a liability? He said, oh, I'd rather sleep on the bridge and keep the money in his pocket. And that's the story of some people who actually sleep. Some people don't have, most people don't have. But it's not impossible that there's one person in this world who has money and is just sleeping under the bridge, right? But the cost, what you will incur in terms of sicknesses, what you will incur in terms of lifestyle, if you are raising children, what your children could possibly turn out to be in such environment is costlier, right, than whatever it is you'll have paid to secure an environment to raise your children. So, and that's why wealth is holistic. It's not just money. I think, like someone rightly said, some people are so broke, all they have is money, right? Some people are so poor, all they have is money. So you can't, it doesn't mean no financial responsibilities. Financial independence doesn't mean immediate returns or easy returns, not necessarily, right? Even with passive income, sometimes you have to work hard in terms of, I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example. How many of you have seen you grew up in places, or you've moved through places where, okay, our church, for example, a number of you on this call are probably from TC and Arepo. How many of you, when you were much younger, you used to come to this axis, or you were living around this axis, or maybe you used to travel, maybe when you were going to school or traveling to the village, up country, you used to go through this Lagos Ibadan Expressway, let's say 20, 15 years ago. Anybody like that on this call?
Yeah, I think I used to pass through Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
Oh, good. Now those times, stay on the call. Let's talk about this. So at those times when you used to pass through, were these estates in existence then? So like this
Okay, I
Aripo Estate, Fortright Estate, City View Estate,
not at
and
all.
all kind. They were not
Not
exactly.
at all.
Now, how did you think they happened? It's essentially, think about it. This is how it was built, right? Typically, and I'm going to speak generally, but then you can verify. But it may not be the story, but generally, this is how it works. So you have, let us say, and I'm just being hypothetical. Let's say that you have 10 million naira. You want to build, you say, oh, you've told your children, your wife who have worked, and I want to go and build a house. Okay, so you know that when you come to build a loan inside a forest that used to be the hideout of armed robbers, you know that you could be their next victim, right? So, but then you were intelligent enough to say, okay, I'll get 5 people, 6 people, 10 friends, and we'll come and do this together, right? Then you come up and you come to do it. You come together to build. I'm just trying to explain to you how it doesn't, that you are even earning passive income doesn't mean you are having it easy, right? Or immediate. No. So you then got this money, then you said, okay, let's build this place. Then you got to this place and you said, myself alone can't do this. Then God expanded your vision. And you're like, okay, what if I get 10 friends who can bring their 10 million? Then I'll assure them, sell them a dream. Now let's buy this place called this place beside Punch. We'll call it Fortright Estate. We'll have a playground. We'll have a gym. We'll have schools. We'll have a medical center. And everyone who buys from there hereafter will buy to us. We'll create security. We'll create an estate. We'll build a city out of a jungle. We'll create a city out of a jungle, essentially. And he reached out to these people. And all these your friends had 10 million naira each, and they were all people who have probably told their wives and children, hey, we're going to stop being tenants in another 1 year. We're going to move to our own house and all that. And then they give you the money. Now you got this 100 million and you bought this hectares and hectares and hectares and hectares of bushland, forest, right? Um, that year, let's say 15 years ago, for example, and you bought it, then having bought it, some of your friends are now saying, let's build the house. You now told them, no, don't build the house. If you build it that way, this place will be susceptible to robbers, susceptible to the real value will not show. So let's do it like this. We leverage on the fact that we are beside, let's say, Punch. There is this, there is that, there are all kinds of things. There's the redemption camp. And I think the university was still at the camp then, right? Then this, and this, there is mountain of fires and all that. And you can just talk about them. And there's this industry, there's that industry and all that. And also let's leverage on that, right? We just tell people we have that proximity. Proximity is sorted. Then we are going to tar the roads. Having tarred the roads, what are we going to do next? We'll get security. We'll talk to the Nigerian police. We'll have a deal with them, build them a station, install them there. Um, we'll do road networks. We'll build a dam. Then while you were doing that, all the money finished, right? Now there will be people that will be impatient and say, "Give us my money. I want to build my land. I want to do this. I want to do that." Right? If they are short-sighted, but you are building a dream. You are saying, "Let's do something such that after we have done it correctly, we will have people who will come. And then when these people come, they will now tell us that we will charge them, we'll sell to them because we'll have raised the value of this land. So let's say that the 10 million naira you gave was going to buy your whole house, but now there are 2 million naira. You probably bought the land at maybe 100,000 per plot. And now because of you've done the roads, there's water, there's security, there's schools, there's hospital, there's another estate, there's proximity to this place, to that place, there's a bank, and all those things. You now say, okay, we are selling now just one plot, 10 million naira. That was the 10 million they will have used to build, right? Now, and then people start coming in. When they come in, you now create a model where you earn from them forever, where they will pay road maintenance, they will pay security, they will pay estate levy, they will pay to you, those they will pay service charges, right, to you forever. Now you collect your money, you build your house, and you'll still be earning from that property. But how many people, let me ask you on this call, how many of you have friends that if you share that vision with them, they will be able to wait? Because this thing I described to you could have taken that person 10 years. In that process, remember that he promised his wife and children that he was moving them out of wherever they were living as tenants in 2 years. How many of you have friends that can wait for 10 years like that to follow you with that kind of dream?
Yes, I can say I have few people that can do that.
And they will endure from what will have taken them 2 years. They'll wait for 10 years and they will still be paying rent for 10 years until the dream kicks off.
I think it depends on, there has to be a duration in which this and this can be
And
accomplished.
but in Nigeria, where, for example, your land permit might not come immediately, your CFO, you might need to fight. Another family who is sold it to you will come back again and say that they have sold it to another person, and this one, that one, factor in all those considerations. But you get where I'm going. I'm essentially
Yes.
saying that it's not easy
Long
and it's
time
not
ago.
immediate. Does it make sense to
Yes.
you?
Yes.
So even financial aid, it's not like it's easy. But somebody say, this thing they are saying is a quick way. No, it's not a quick. It's not a get rich quick means. No, right to well. It doesn't mean complete absence of work, and it doesn't mean guaranteed security. Right. Now, what then? Financial independence. I like to start from money, names, and facts. Right. There are certain facts about money that you hear them from their colloquial names. The first one is currency. Right. Currency means flow, right? You must have heard of water current, electric current, and you must have heard of the word cash flow because money flows. And the vehicle that money rides on is ignorance or foolishness, right? Money either flows away from the foolish or the ignorant or flows towards the wise, right? It is wisdom that commands and retains wealth. That's the truth, right? If you want to be wealthy, it begins with that. Yeah. In Luke 4:18, Jesus said, the Spirit of God is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, information to the poor. to open blind eyes. The blind needs eyes to see, to restore, to heal the brokenhearted. The brokenhearted needs healing. But when it comes to the poor, it says, right, to preach the gospel, to give information, gospel, good news, right, to the poor. So information, wealth flows away from ignorance. You can earn in dollars. You can see Mike Tyson ended his career with $250 million, right? And in that year, he bought 8 Rolls Royces, each one to match the color of his suit when he was going out, right? It didn't take long before he went bankrupt, right? Now, understand it. If you are not intelligent, money that you say you have today will soon walk away from you, right? It takes wisdom to retain wealth. It takes wisdom to command wealth, to retain wealth, and to perpetuate it, right? So currency means flow. That's the first colloquial name of money. Another colloquial name of money is bulk. Box rather, right? You must have heard the buck stops here. So buck refers to responsibility. I have $5, I have $10, that kind of thing. So it means that you are responsible, for your wealth, not your parents, not your employer, not your government. Stop fighting the wrong battles. If you are fighting the wrong battles, there is no victory in view, right? Stop blaming people for your poverty, right? There are people who have not earned a lot. One of the things you will learn in this session is that you do not even need to be earning a lot to build wealth. No, you don't. You just need to be a certain way, a certain type of person to be able to build wealth, right? So you must understand that yes, money flows, but also money refers to responsibility. Money refers to you are responsible for your own wealth, not your employer. Your employer is not responsible for your wealth. Your parents are not responsible for your wealth. You are responsible. Your government is not. Your government is not. Your government is not. So you are responsible for your own wealth. Then, though, that's the third one. Though, right? Though refers to the capacity of money to rise, right? Capacity of money to rise. Though people refer to money as though, right? It's colloquial, but it means the capacity of money to rise. So Albert Einstein, the man of the last century, you said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, right? The ability of money to rise, to multiply itself. If you understand this, you will do tremendous things when it comes to the finances. I mean, it can make a little difference. Just a little extra can make a little difference, right? Just a little extra can make a little difference, right? That's the power. This is the power of compounding. This is the power of wealth compounding over time. Just a little extra effort or a little less can make significant results, right, with our lives. So those are the colloquial names of money. Now let's get into the first principles. Did you follow to this point? Are we good? All right. So let's move. The first principle. This is really one thing I want to talk about. The first principles of money. Now, there are principles. If you understand the first principles, you can build. If any of you is in building or the construction industry, you will realize the way houses or buildings are built is very simple. All right. And how do we do that? The architect comes to site or this engineer comes to site and lays the first block. He lays the first block, right? And say, okay, this is the layout for the kitchen. This is the layout for the living room. This is the layout for the bedrooms, the layout for the bathrooms, and it does all that. I says, okay, that's it. So he lays those things. And then what do the people who are less educated to him or who do the hard labor do? They then build these blocks, right, to the heights that it designates to them. Now, if he doesn't lay that first block, right, and put it there will be no template to build upon. Am I correct? There will be no template to build upon. So there must be a template to build upon, and that's what. So this is the first one. If you jump the first principles, it's like trying to build castles in the air. Now, these are the first principles of money. All right, first principle of money. Now, look at this. It's liabilities plus equities equals to assets, right? Liabilities plus equities equals to assets, right? That's what it means. This is the first principle. Some people call it the accounting principle, but we are not here to teach accounts. Just understand it, especially if you are not mathematically inclined. It's a very simple thing, right? Liabilities plus your equities will make up your assets, right? Will make up your assets. So that's what assets equals liabilities plus equity. Assets equal liabilities plus equity is a basic accounting principle, and we are coming there. We're coming there, right? We'll come and talk about it essentially. Now, which one of the three items that I showed you in the first principles, this one, assets equals liabilities plus equity. Which of the three items is the most important?
Assets.
Okay.
Asset.
So you mentioned your name. You mentioned your name, so I can know.
Okay, my name is Boluwatife.
Hi, Bodo.
Assets.
Okay, good.
Yes,
Hi,
sir.
Bodo. Assets. Okay. Who else?
Phoebe, assets.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Again, that's so let's do it like this. Let me give you a bit of explanation. So after all this, after you've gotten all your money, so someone else says equity. Okay, let me not even say anything. Equity. So Phoebe says assets, Boluwatife says assets, Tokwe said assets, David has stated equity. Okay, let's do like this. Tokwe, why do you say assets? Just sign off from you. From a personal finance point of view, please. I'm not talking about your accounting knowledge in school. Right. So Emmanuel says equity, David says equity, Tokwe says assets. So Tokwe, why are you saying assets? Oh, Phoebe, you're unable to speak. Okay, who else do we have?
Also from 22, I couldn't hear your question, sir.
Okay, so you said assets. I wanted you to justify your choice. That's all.
Okay, the reason why I chose assets because I feel that at the end what matters is the assets because the liability can be very high or the even the equity can be high too, but the liability is more. So I need to check if after everything,
You
is
said
there profit that covers every other thing.
the what?
So I
The
said
what?
I
Tell me.
would well, for me what is most important is that after everything is there enough profits or even enough assets, not even liquid cash or whatever. Is there assets that can cover for every other thing, liability and all?
Okay. Now I get you. So I get exactly what you're saying. So apparently you are mixing it up. So and it's okay. And I know what is interfering. It's probably the information you had before about these things. But it's okay. We'll clarify things right now. Thank you very much, Phoebe. Equity. Julius, is there a reason why you say equity?
So I said equity because equity just it literally means your stake after your liability has been taken out from the
Excellent.
business. Yeah. So
Excellent.
you might have enough
Thank you.
assets, but your liability is
Continue.
more than the
Yeah.
okay. So I said
Mm.
you might have plenty assets. It looks like you have plenty assets, but when you check your liabilities, literally more than your
Mm.
assets. So it doesn't mean you have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why
Thank you very much. Let me just help us. Yeah. Thank you very much, Julius. And let me just help us straight away. The answer is like this. If you have, imagine, let me ask you. So, Phoebe, let me come back to you. Phoebe, please unmute your microphone. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, let me take you on this. So, imagine that. And we're talking just have it at the back of your mind that we're talking about your personal finance. You're building wealth,
Yes, sir.
right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Not, don't think, and that's the problem with accountants. They can they can balance the books for companies, right? And plan the finance and the accounts of companies, but sometimes their own personal accounts might not work. And the challenge is, if you carry that technical knowledge alone into it, you might not
Yes.
understand. Now, look at this. If you have, let's say you earn 400K, it's a salary
Yes, sir.
at the end of the month, 400,000 naira. And at the end of and what would you call that one? Is it asset? Is it liability or equity? You do business,
That's assets.
you make money. At the end of the day, is what?
Assets.
Yes, it's assets. It's cash. It's assets. So it's cash.
Yes.
It's assets. Good. So that's your total income for that month from business, from what you bought, from passive income, from your salary and all that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now the second thing is, when you then plan your expenses for that month, if it comes to, let's say, 150,000 naira, what is that one? What's 150?
Liability. My
Excellent. They are the
expenses.
obligations you are meant to pay. Exactly.
Yes.
Your obligations you are meant to pay. They are your liabilities, right?
Yes, sir.
Again, don't wear your accounting hat. Just follow me. Right. Good. Now, what will now be your equity?
Okay, so my equity will now be, oh, that's true, 250,000. If
Excellent.
liability is
250,000. Now let me
150,
ask
so
you.
okay.
Yes. Excellent. So let me now
Yes.
ask you, and I hope everyone is listening. When you collect that 400K,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you are happy and you are excited from a personal finance um, standpoint, how much do you think of which one of these three sets of money should excite you as an individual who is building wealth? Which one
Okay, it is the equity.
is the equity? Does it make sense to you?
Yes. Yes,
Because it is
sir.
what you have left. It is what you have left
Yes.
after all your obligations have been met. That is why it is called your net worth. This is
Mm.
why earning a 1 million naira, earning 10 million naira a month does not mean anything if your liabilities match up with your assets. One of the problems with people is that you don't know how to eat small food, you don't know how to live in small houses, you don't know how to live a simple life. Your liabilities must just catch up with your expenses. And if you live that way, you will not join the league of people who are building wealth. You will have money to live your life, to buy a drink here and there, to buy a drink for the boys, to hang out with the girls, to wear the latest outfit in town, and to just drip. How do you call it? To drip very well, right? But man, you will not be building any future. You will not have a sustainable future. And this is the truth. So this, what is left of obligations, your liabilities have been met, is what is called your net worth. It's really your worth. So if you go to Dangote's books, for example, you can see, let's say, I'm just saying hypothetically, that is there is $50 billion of assets. That's not his net worth. It's probably some as it's asset money, right? When you look at his financials, the one that is used to be adjudged Africa's richest man is his equity. After you have removed all the obligations, money is owing this one, investors' money, blah blah blah. That's maybe $25 billion left or something is what is called his net worth. Right. Is it clear now, everybody? Good. It's
Yes.
unlikely that I'll
Yes.
be able to finish this session today. Very unlikely, but we'll continue it, right? But we'll reach a safe point where you'll be good. Now, that's the first one. Now, the first key to financial independence is very simple. Now, look at it. Let me show you something. Bum, 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 bum. So look at this one. I want to show you something on this equity thing. So if you look at this, A equals to L plus E, right? That's the basic account. That's the first principle, right? Then the second, if you want to make equity the subject of formula, apologies to my non-numeric friends. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. This is really what we are looking for. Is the second expression correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, your equity is your assets minus your after you have removed your liabilities, right? Now, if we want to increase our net worth, you want to increase your net worth, you want your network to go up. What are the variables that you can control?
Liability.
Primarily the liability, right? Of course, asset as well, but in this case, liability. So what must happen for equity to go up? What must happen to assets?
Reduce liability.
You must reduce liability because of the negative effect of the minus sign. Then what do you do to your assets?
Raise your assets.
You raise your assets, right? Simple mathematics. So is anybody lost? I'm willing to take this again. Excellent. Rodari, like I says, increase your assets, yes, and decrease your liabilities. Right, good. So this is how it is done. You increase assets, you decrease liabilities. That's how you increase your equities. Does it make sense to us? Now, let's go to the next page. I want to show you something really interesting there. Now, if you then want to build wealth, the first thing you must do, the first key to financial independence, is to take a audit of your life and then put it here. If the bulk of your money goes, the bulk of your spending and your financial activities go to this part, you're on your way to poverty. And if the bulk of your money goes to this part, you're on your way to building equity. So what we are going to do at this point together is that we are going to do a list. Give me examples of assets, give me examples of liabilities at your level. Please, at your level, it's relative at your level. Then we're going to discuss it. So let's start with assets. What do you think? If I'm going to build wealth and increase my equity, remember the goal is to increase our net worth for equity. The real thing, and that's what you're going to find by this exercise, is that the real thing that defines how wealthy you are not the things that are shown to the world. It's not the car you are driving. It's not. Oh no, let me not jump ahead. So let's go. So let's start the exercise. Who's giving me examples of assets? Now, from a personal financial point, please don't tell me machine, plant, property, and equipment, PPE, and machinery. That's accounting. No, we are not balancing accounts here. We're saying from a personal finance standpoint. Give
Sir,
me
I have
example.
one for liability.
You have more for liability, one for liability.
No, I have one.
You
And
have
it's
one for
like,
liability. Why
yes,
are you running
firstborn
this? Let's do
responsibility.
asset, Jerry. Wait, Joe. What did you call it? What did you
Firstborn
call it?
responsibilities.
Firstborn
Firstborn
responsibility.
responsibilities.
Okay. So you guys want to feel both sides at the same time. Okay, so let's go. You say firstborn
Oh, okay.
responsibilities. You say firstborn responsibilities, right?
Yes, sir.
Explain.
So when you have siblings that they'll call, oh, please, I need airtime. I need data to finish one assignment. You send. Oh, this one will call. Oh, I need this one. I have this one. You send. And it looks like you have to send.
Is what?
No, I said it
It's
looks
what,
like you
please?
don't have a choice.
It looks like you don't have a choice. Do you always don't have a choice? Which is why I want us to come back to this liability thing. But so help me hold the thought. Let's nail assets. Then I'll be able to come back to it. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you? Perhaps
Yeah.
you dropped out of the call. Oh, okay, good. So let's take assets, guys, from a personal finance point of view. Please, let's go. Assets, please.
Income.
Savings.
Most definitely.
Savings.
Income. Okay, income, savings. Okay, income, savings. The reason why I'm cringing like this is because it is essentially cash. So think about it like this. Look at it, everybody. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you direct.
Income.
Now look at this income. Look at this income. This is what we are doing. We are saying that when you receive your income, you are doing like this. You are either going like this or you are going like this. Did you see what I just did?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So your income is not yet an asset.
Okay.
You can't the income you can't or you won't categorize it as an asset and liability yet, right? Until you then say, okay, this is exactly what it is. Does it make sense to you? So it's income standing on its own that we are splitting into assets or liabilities. So I'm saying that what has come into your life in a month is what you are dropping into this. It is those actions you are taking that are informing whether you are more on the asset side or the liability side. That's exactly what we are saying. Does it make sense to you now?
Yes, sir.
Does it make sense? Yeah, that is why I can't record income as an asset. That's why I don't want to record income as an asset. When it's in your hand, when you get it and you get that alert and you are excited, okay, let's now begin to see the financial decisions that you make. That's what determines whether it's an asset or it's a liability from a personal finance standpoint, right? So tell me, give me an example of assets. Let's nail this asset thing once and for all.
Savings.
Savings. Okay. People should want to do cash. Although, again, savings, what do you do with it when you pull it out? Is it assets or liabilities? That's why I'm not taking income. Exactly. That's why I'm not
Okay.
taking. You don't know. You don't know until you tell me what you do with the savings or what you do with the money.
Okay.
That's you understand what I'm saying. That's the analysis we are doing. So income
Okay, sir.
and this.
Okay.
So let's go.
Mark,
Okay,
Okay.
Kids Pro says laptop. Brother is basically, this is serious.
marketable,
Under this, okay. Go
marketable,
ahead. Someone was talking. What did you say?
market
Investments.
security.
Marketable securities. Good.
Yes,
Can you give example? I need to be sure.
yes, I had to look that up. I had to look that up. That's like bond
Thank you for
or
looking it up. But
yeah,
thank you for
bond
looking it up. I don't want you
like
to look it up.
I can
Uh-uh,
quick
uh-uh. I
into
know,
yes,
I know, and I appreciate you. But I don't want
yes.
you to look it up. I don't want you to look it up. I want you to
I had
tell
to,
me what's going on in your life right now.
I had to look
Does
for
it
a
make
financial.
sense? Yeah.
I had to look for a financial way of saying maybe things like cars, laptops, properties, and the rest. If you like to convert them into money, so that was why I just had to like okay look for a word that can encompass all of
No,
that.
no, no. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just tell me what you are saying one by one. I'm okay. You don't go that far. It's not
Okay,
that deep. I want something you can use after this session. I want you to be
okay,
able to see yourself exactly,
okay.
and make decisions. What I'm doing to you is what a doctor does to his patient. It's a diagnosis. Does it make
Okay.
sense to you?
Yes.
Yes. So let's go. Tell me what you say assets are to you. That's what I want to write down.
Sir, shares, bank shares.
Okay, bank shares. Okay, good. That's fine.
Transaction
I'll take that. What do you
I
mean by
think
transaction
out
start?
of the
transaction returns. Take for example, like from my business, from the services I
Yeah.
render, profits I get from that.
Mm,
So can I call that my
good.
transaction?
So it's fine. So what we will call it is this. It's business. You are when you earn, I assume that you probably earn, for example, most people on this call will be people that earn. So you earn, but you have invested money, you have built a business, right? From money that you have received, whether someone gave you seed money or you have worked somewhere, you took that money to build a business, right? And now it's giving you returns. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Excellent. So what we'll call that is businesses. I do not want it, I want it to be as simple as possible that someone can use after today. Is this helpful to you?
Yes, that's very helpful.
Good, good. So let's move on. So shares, businesses, what else?
so what about good
Certification,
health?
I didn't hear that.
a
I didn't hear that.
certification, maybe a training.
Certifications.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say education. However, I have a caveat for education. Are you sure you are ready to hear it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
You,
there's
sir.
education and there's education.
Mm.
There are educations that when you invest in them, the best it will do for you is that you will say you have this degree or you have this education, you have this license. It is not useful in the market. And I am saying this because I'm the only one that might be able to tell you. I'll give you an instance. And see, what we are doing is diagnosis. I am your brother. I am your friend. I was sent here to help you, and I'm going to be with you until they say, "Hey, Ayo, until God says, Ayo, you can't be their coordinator anymore. You have other assignments to move on to." Right. So, but I want to tell you this. Are you aware of the discrimination that goes on in the marketplace, for example, about when you have gone to certain institutions in Nigeria? Like from day one, it's as if you are marginalized. It's as if there's a problem that you went to this school. Are you
Yeah,
aware of this kind of thing?
yes.
Now, but those people, and do you know that those programs are very expensive? Do you know that?
They are.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I'll
sir.
give you an example now. I went to Ife, OU in Ife, for example. My hostel fee that year, I won't tell you the year, so that you won't think I'm not as young as I look. My hostel fee was 90 naira per session. We only paid hostel maintenance for 2,500 naira. We had my school fees in environmental design management, somewhat engineering, was maybe 7,500 naira. In fact, our friends that used to dress black and white, spray, their school fees was 5,000 naira, right? I don't think it was a lot of money. It wasn't exactly a lot of money, right? But we had, and I was sleeping in the hostel for 19 naira, and hostel maintenance 2,590. So in a year, it's 10,000 naira really for my entire tuition, right? But I had friends who they were already going to schools that in that year they were paying 120,000 naira, and I was working towards a bachelor's degree, and they were working towards another degree, which I do not want to sound marginalized. I don't want to sound as someone who is marginalizing, but they went to those programs. Their parents paid 10 times more to get those things. And in the job market, in fact, by the time it's time, for example, to go for something like NYSC, their government is contemplating, should they go, should they not go, do they qualify to go, or do they not qualify to go, after collecting that amount of money from. And here am I, who have not spent so much, right? I qualify for that. I'll get other better opportunities in the market. And I'm saying this because you need to define what education is. See, maybe your parents or your uncles or your siblings sent you to those kind of schools, but now you have graduated, you have faced marginalization in the market, and you are now going back to those places again to get a second degree. And you call that an asset. Are you still with me? Am I making some things
Yes, sir.
clear? I always know this session will not, I can't finish it. There's no way. I cannot finish it. Right? I will have to create another time to do it, but we need to be clear on something. Right? But then what you wanted to say is not education. What you wanted to say to me is quality. Quality what, everybody?
Quality education.
Quality education. They are two different things. See, there's accountant in Udoma and Sons Limited. There is same accountant at KPMG or at PwC. And you must begin to, if for nothing, for posterity. Because again, there is a limitation that your level of education can place on your children. There is what is acceptable education in certain homes, because one person in his youth, like yourself and myself, made certain decisions, and it became the benchmark of education in that home. That nobody goes to a school that is below this in this house. It will limit your income level. See, somebody presents a certificate and say, I mean, in 2009, Harvard Business School came to Nigeria. You can imagine my age in 2009. If I'm as young as I am like this, and my age then, you remove 2009, that's how many years ago?
15 years.
15 years. So you can imagine my age then. But it was important to me. And I went to that meeting. I remember the place very well, Victoria Crown Plaza on Ajose Adeogun. That's Zenith Bank Road at Victoria Land, around the hotel. And I went to that place. That year, 15 years ago, Harvard was telling us that an MBA in their program was 24 million that year. That year, if you sell my father, sell my mother, sell everybody, forget it. Are you getting what I'm saying? But something drove me to that place. It's what it is, guys. There are no hard feelings. There's no hard. See, there are some names that the moment they see them on your CV, nobody takes you seriously. You think you have had a master's degree, but come on. They just believe that I have gone to a glorified college. And I'm talking from the standpoint of someone who has interacted with employers in the marketplace. There are things that don't cross. They don't cross. There are organizations, those things don't cross. So that's essential. So I just wanted you to clarify quality education. Somebody will say, there's one exam, I want to go and write this exam. How much is it? It's 6 stages. It's 25,000 naira per one. Or it's 15,000 naira per one, and I'll take this exam and see, my dear, even if you are teaching, even if you are working in what some people will say is not a lot, you can do ordinary things in extraordinary ways. There is nothing you cannot turn around, even as a teacher. And I'm saying, because I mean, I'm a teacher myself now. Am I not teaching you? You know, my mom is a teacher, my dad is a teacher. The education is what they do, maybe, and that's probably why I am the way I am like this. As I'm teaching, you know, you are the one that will get tired. I can be talking like this till tomorrow, right? So it's there. But the reality is, when it comes to this education thing, see, even as a teacher, there is the qualification that they use to enter places to teach in schools like Grange, where the salary of a teacher then, I don't know what it is like now, used to be, the entry level used to be the salary of a banker. Even what somebody was, the profession that somebody will say, oh, you just go when you are waiting for a transition to another role. It's not necessarily so, because you can really do ordinary things in extraordinary ways. Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Oh.
So let's be clear. There's nothing called education. Let's not do that to ourselves. It's quality education. It can be very expensive. Like one of the world's toughest exams right now is the CFA designation. You are in finance, and no offense, you are writing only local exams. Where would that land you? In this world that have been accelerated to be a global space? You won't do much with that. So quality education. Let's be clear about what assets are. There are educators that when you have them and you write it on your CV that I am from this. In fact, that's going to be the first thing on your profile. The buzz you'll be getting, they attract people. When I went to that Harvard Business Information, they were showing us the kind of vacancies that they were bringing to them. I saw one. See, they wanted to hire a mayor in a country. They went to Harvard Business School. Tell me which master's program you will go in our local market that they will even use it to hire a king in a village. I mean, I'm talking about global opportunities. Guys, does it make sense to you what I'm saying?
Yes, it
Yes,
does.
sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
Yes.
that's how to stretch your mind. When you invest in things like this, you can flatten out your account. You can flatten out your account. You can be out, but you will know that you have made a major. See, you don't make decisions based on cost. You make decisions based on value. And that's what's making some people suffer today. And the only challenge is, if you know it and you accept it, that it's a challenge, that the education that you have received is limiting you, and you are doing something towards it. But you have received it and you're acting like it's just normal. Oh, that all of us are the same. All of us are not the same. No, sir. No, man. Some people have invested thoroughly in quality education. Now, if you do not have that vision for yourself, you might not be able to think about it for your children. Is the truth. If you don't raise your own bar, you may not be able to raise the bar for your children. I'm telling you the truth. It's very important. Very, very. So quality education, right? I just needed to clarify that. And I'm sure your mind is beginning to change about what assets truly are. It's not what they say asset is that it is, my dear. It is what we will begin to find out by the quality. You see why income cannot be an asset. It is until you take that income and use it for something that we know whether you have made an asset decision, an asset-driven decision, or a liability-driven decision. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
So let's move on from that one. Let's have another one. There's no way I will finish this session.
Joint
Is both
investment.
what did you call it?
Joint investment.
So what do you do with joint? Let me know what your joint investments are. Which one? What do you do? What exactly does it mean?
Okay, maybe you have a business, you own together with some couple of friends that have the same mind as you.
That's really shares now. It's equity. It's stake.
Okay.
It's stake in
Okay.
businesses. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
well done. Yeah. So that's it.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can wellness be an asset?
Can what?
Wellness, having good health.
Oh yes. Now it is an asset. Absolutely. I mean, it's priceless. It's priceless. But if what you are calling wellness is English breakfast at Sheraton, and your salary is 25,000 naira or 100,000 naira, and what you define as wellness is English breakfast at Sheraton, not exactly, or a gym registration that is half of your salary, it might not be an intelligent decision. but wellness is, yes, the things you do to stay healthy, right? Wellness definitely is. And I cringe with this word wellness because what wellness is, let me just say health, please. Because wellness now, you might be thinking of wellness products, wellness cream. What are those things you used to buy for wellness? Skin wellness. Glory to God. Abi, those ones that you'll be popping and be glowing. Don't wonder how I know. I have two sisters. I have a mother. So I know, that's why I know that thing. Okay, so let's move on. Tell me another answer, please.
Okay, sir.
Time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, please. Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to ask about quality network relationships.
Quality
Mm,
relationship. Thank you. Now you're adding quality to it because you understand what I'm saying, right? Exactly. Not everybody. So, for example, can you think about the value of what it is that you are, let's say, for example, you are a doctor, or you are in any profession, and you belong, you belong. There is value that the professional association gives you, right? So quality relationship sometimes, and it costs a lot of money. That's why even after they have given you your license and your certificate, they say you should come and pay for renewal, isn't it? Right, so that you can benefit from what those groups add to you. Am I correct? So quality
yes,
relationships.
sir.
Quality relationships. Some of them are professional associations and all that. There's no way I'll be able to finish this thing today, but let's move on. Any other assets you can think about? Let's take one more.
So what about time?
Time. Again, time is like income. So when you move it, your time can be take on the nature of an asset or take on the nature of a liability. In it. Okay, let's go to liabilities, because if you're out of it, then you're out. That if you're out of it, then you're out. But again, these are not sufficient assets, right? I remember somebody talked about. I saw on the chart. I saw mutual funds or something like that. Yes, mutual funds are mutual funds. Of course, marketable securities, fixed income and bonds, fixed income and bonds, right? Treasury bills, government bills, and all that they are. But let's go to liabilities quickly. So, Phoebe, should we go with your first one responsibility first, Abby?
Yes, sir. It's very important.
Okay, so let's not call the first one responsibilities. So, that one is really a long conversation because the circumstances are different, right? The circumstances are very different. But on a very general, there are homes where it is impossible for them to survive without help from somewhere, right? There's no, because maybe some poor financial decisions were made or something just happened that they're in a fix. There's no doubt about that. But when you talk about financial independence, really, Phoebe, let's go back to you. If you mentioned firstborn responsibility, do you want to be in a state where your siblings are having to ask you money for every single thing?
No, not at all, sir.
Is that really what you want?
No, not at all. No.
Exactly. And that's why I say you have a choice. So you can give something now, but you want to essentially see how they are properly placed and they don't have to keep coming back to you. Does it make sense to you? Exactly.
Yes,
Because again,
it makes sense.
otherwise it's not sustainable. In fact, let me tell you the truth. You are incapacitating them if you keep giving all the time and you do not empower them. See, there's encouragement, there's empowerment. They are two different things. Right? My parents, my mom had a niece, right, who she's been having to give money to. Got married, her husband will be running to them again. This person is 50 years old today. All our cousins, from all our other cousins, right, they are way ahead of her. And I told my mom, I said, I know you love people, but you incapacitated her. You incapacitated her. You incapacitated her. You incapacitated her. So she's married. She has 3 children. Her husband, the wife, 3 children will keep running to her every single time. So that's why you incapacitated. I know you were trying to help, but you incapacitated her. There's a reason why when a butterfly is forming and is coming out of the egg, and it's stretching its wing. If you are there and you just try to, and you see that wing, and it's okay, let me cut it so that it can help it. If you cut it, you've incapacitated it. That butterfly will never fly. It will be a butter sleep, not a butterfly. But if you want it to reach its full potential, you have to allow it stretch. You have to allow it stretch. Many a times it's because you were not allowed to be stretched yourself that you now don't want to stretch people. And then you perpetuate a generation of, you can perpetuate a generation of lazy bones, of irresponsible people. Sorry, for lack of better words, if you are not careful. I'm telling you the truth. Stretching is what makes people develop and grow. Again, the conversation must be clear, so that we have to separate stretching from wickedness. People are just, they've been selfish before, so they just want to use that as so that's why I'm cringing to write this your firstborn responsibilities here. But really, in some cases, it truly is. It really is, right? It truly is firstborn responsibilities, unguided responsibilities, right? It's not even just firstborn alone. Unguided responsibilities. You are the one that goes to the office cafeteria, and when you get there, you buy for everybody. Every time. You just declare for the boys. You are building a breed of liabilities around you, and they will depend on you for every single thing. And let me tell you, what will pain you is that when you need their help, they won't be there for you, because you've taught them to use their own money for themselves. They can't think about doing anything for other people as well. But anyway, that's that one. Let's take more liabilities, please. Somebody said a personal car. Success says a personal car. It's almost 5:30. I have to wrap up this thing by 5:40. So
Maintenance.
Yeah, so I'm coming. So let's take it. So a personal car, but a personal car is relative. Sure, you know. So if, for example, you have, because so that you don't be going everywhere and you are looking onto say a personal car, or you get to a point where you can own a car and you're saying no, personal car. No, essentially, the way to look at it is, it's not just the buying of the car. Are you able to fund it? Are you buying a car that is your size, right? Are you able to fund it? What's the cost of maintenance, which is what somebody just mentioned now, right? So sometimes, in some cases, if you're entry level and you're trying to buy a G-Wagon, then you know very well that you may soon die, right? So the cost of maintenance might kill you. So let's say that, yes, so a car, depending on what level you are, it is relative, please. This thing is relative. Before you make your family be crossing Lagos Ibadan Expressway, because you said that a car is a liability. It's relative. So please think about your situation very well and all that. But that it says hailings. When they hail, chairman money go drop. Hailings. You must learn to say no. Many of those, if my mom had said no to those people, I'm talking about, they have 3 children. When they will come to her, they have a dad, they have a mom in the city. And my mom's children are not even there to ask her for anything. Everybody's looking for even the ones that are living with them, they are just finding their way. But these ones will come. It's sometimes it's embarrassing. But you've incapacitated those people anyway. And taught them that anytime you have a need, just beg. Just beg. It's a problem. All right then. So sometimes you need to say no.
Unguided spending.
What does that mean?
Just like buying something that because you want to do buga, you went and buy it.
Okay, so impulsive spending, right?
Yes. Don't go be
Don't need
buying bags that is more than you.
impulsive spending. You should have listed it clearly. Chef. In fact, expensive accessories, right? So that's really what it is. And I'm using the word expensive. I didn't say accessories, so that someone will not come to church looking like a masquerade next Sunday. I didn't say expensive accessories. And expensive is relative. You earn 200,000 naira a month. You are wearing accessories of 5 million naira. You either have a sugar daddy that is buying it for you, or your parents have left wealth for you, and that's what you are converting into, right? So, or you are putting all your money in that, and you are paying. Imagine paying for 1 earring for 25 months with all your salary, and you know that you're already in trouble. Exactly. So, expensive accessories. Okay, what else?
So if we are not putting transport fare to work and food in assets, that means it should be in liability, right?
No, it's not. It's not. So you're the one that
Okay.
raised wellness and health. If you don't eat and you don't transport, remember, your equity is after you have removed your liabilities and your assets. You cannot say that good food to your body is a liability. Actually, it is
I guess it's
malnourishment that will land you in the hospital. That is liability.
okay. I guess so.
Doesn't make sense. Exactly. So yeah. So transportation can, before somebody start trekking from Aripo to Lekki phase 1, that
Then they now collapse.
they will now and we will spend the money in the account. Because that's what I said at the beginning. Foolishness makes money to flow away from the ignorant. It is wisdom that makes wealth to flow towards the wise. Right? So expensive lifestyle. So what else? The only problem is if you are now saying you're at a certain level of income and everywhere it has to be a Uber because somebody has told you somewhere. If you are, excuse me, that if you are not doing, how can you be taking a bike? You are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus, or you are. I mean, how can you Okada, boss, commercial boss? You know, see, if it's not your level, it's not your level, right? That's just what it is. So that's when you can then say expensive transportation. Maybe that's what you should have said. Expensive, essentially expensive lifestyle. And the word expensive is relative. It's expensive when you can't afford it. And there's no crime to saying, I'm sorry, I can't afford it right now. I'll pass.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. Society doesn't want to say, have you tried to buy something at the mall before? And then you could not, you can't, you then get there and they calculate it, they run the money through, they run the barcodes and they scan the items and you're like, what? This thing is way beyond my budget. Sometimes the way even the cashier or the cashier looks at you, looks like, are you really going to return these things right now? But the question I always ask is, even you, the cashier, can you afford it?
I'm sorry, I will return
Because
it.
you want to, because exactly, because you want to impress.
I'm sorry, madam. I can't pay for this.
I don't even take it back to the counter. I say put it aside.
Just put it aside, I beg.
Exactly, right? So, but I mean, I'm glad that you can, but some people can't. I'm telling you the truth. Some people can't do it.
That's very true. Now they're not very outspoken. People that are not outspoken.
They will not be able to do it.
They just keep quiet and come around at home.
Exactly. Right. So you must own your no. You must be able to own your no. You must be able to own your yes. And I know that there are a lot of us who are talking now because I use a counter, a mall example. But there are places where you don't talk to now.
Abala mom in the corner.
When they bring Ashoebi, you don't talk now. I know we are talking about now. Yeah. We talk now. You are talking.
I don't want my own to be different. That's why I bought it.
Exactly. You know what my mom was telling me that time, that it's people that will do your own too. Let's do.
Exactly.
It's cultural. You do not have to.
That
if you
thing
can't
cannot happen to me again. This is the
but
last time it has happened there before.
Sorry. It's still coming in the front. Don't worry.
So
if
you
there
have
is a party that I know that the transport with me, if I send the money to the person will bless me. I'll come stay in my house and send the money. Now you cannot guilt trap me to any come to my wedding, come to Kiniko. Cannot happen again. Never.
In fact, like I always tell people, the only wedding that is compulsory for you to attend is your own wedding. There is no, you are not under any obligation. And I'm saying it seriously. All this going to Owambe every weekend. Many singles have gotten married and they are still living that life because nobody ever corrected them. Now their children are distant from them. They don't even know them. And they have perpetuated those. There are things you lose trying to be a people pleaser. That's yeah. So you must be able to say no, to those kind of lifestyle, right? Or you go to an eatery, to go and eat, and everybody will order a certain type of food, and you just cannot say no, I'm not eating this type, or I'm not eating here, or something. Because again, people have their own, is when it's convenient that we talk, but the one that is not here. So I just wanted to point out that one too, that there's a place where you don't talk. So those things need to be clear. All right, but that's that. So again, you can see assets. I did see Brazilian where I think the other time I was teaching a bank, I wrote they came up with Brazilian air. They came up with all kinds of things, and I was wondering that it is well. It looks like the audience is different this evening. Those ones, the liability list was a lot, right? Then under assets, nobody mentioned real estate and all that. But essentially, you get the gist, right? If when money enters your hand, it goes to the left of this box, which is this one, right? It comes to this side, right? And other associated things, then you are good. But if your money keeps going here, right, you are headed to poverty. You're headed to poverty. Gambling. How about gambling? I'm coming, man. How about gambling? How about betting? How about gambling? How about betting? How about drugs? How about drugs? How about alcohol? Right? How about these things that are addictive? How about data? Internet data. Right?
So we need to have data.
Yeah,
Now we need
so
to
that
have data. We need
data
data
is
to
From the
survive.
beginning, I should have
Data
mentioned
is
data,
life.
but
excessive
we're
data.
looking at
Excessive
assets.
data. Excessive data.
Ah,
Excessive data.
data.
You say
Excessive.
excessive
1 month
data.
data will finish in 1 week.
Yes, there's excessive data. Some of you don't know how to turn off your phones when you are going to bed at night. And when you wake up, it's the first thing you pick up. Your phone runs all night, your applications run all night, you wake up, you pick it up again. It's not intelligent. That's not how to spend money, right? You're just making money for the telcos. This is what it is. It's not anything. You pay that much. Do you have MTN shares? You pay that much and you're not getting a profit from that company. Right? You should yes now.
What?
They're paying that much and you don't have shares. They are not paying you profit at the end of the year. Right. So you need to review that. You need to review that. It's very, very important. Right. So you need to do that. Okay. So that's that part. Then let's move on to what's the name now? So that's asset and liabilities. Guys, there's no way. It's already 5:30 and tomorrow is Monday. Me, I'm cool. I can continue like this tomorrow, but I don't think it's good to keep you beyond now. So essentially, I've talked about a bit of the first principles of money. I've talked about just one principle, and I've talked about the other names that money bear, right? So the colloquial names of money, right? So that we can add value to this. Maybe I should take one more principle till 5:40, then I'll take your questions till 6 p.m. Then we'll call it a wrap this evening. Essentially, these sessions will be 120 minutes instead of 90. But I hope value is being added tonight, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me take this next minutes for 2 minutes. So time value of money is the second principle of money. This is actually how money grows. It's this one. There is a time concept to money. If you had 150,000 naira in your account 10 years ago, I think will it be 10, 15 years ago, let's say during that particular regime when the dollar was 152 in naira, you would be at you would be worth $1,000, right? But if you left that 150,000 in the bank till now, you will be worth only $100. You'll be worth only $100, right? Time impacts on money. Time has direct impact on money. If you're going to be poor, it's time. If you're going to be rich, it's time. And I'm not talking about passive time that let the money just be, let the time just be passing. No, it is what you're doing in that time to the money is what will determine how it grows. Now, the time value of money, look at this expression. Please don't worry. I'm not trying to turn you to a mathematician, but it's proven. All the laws of the world, your car moving on the road, the way your house is standing, the way your building is, the way the roads are constructed has an element of mathematics. Mathematics makes life predictable. And I believe strongly in principles. Principles are levelers. Principles, a gravitational principle is the same in Nigeria and Jamaica. If you jump down a 10-story building in Nigeria, you will hit on the ground. If you jump in America, it's the same thing. It's just that in one of the countries, the rescue team will come early. In another one, the rescue team will come late. But in another one, the rescue team will not come at all. You know the one where the rescue team will not come at all. It's after the person has fallen. But I didn't mention anybody's name. So
we end on blogs.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about. right? But then the time value of money. Now there are three components of this: the future value of money, the present value of money, and the rate at which you are, the number of years you are willing to live them, right? So how much you are willing to set aside now is your present value. That is that PV that you see there. This PV item, right, is the present value of money. This one. Did you see what I circled, everybody? Be fast, to be fast, be fast. I'm rushing.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, that's the present value of money. Now, but then by the time you move to the next slide, you will see that how much you are willing to set aside now against how much you have. You see that thing about saving 20% or 10% of your income. It's not for you. It's for your children who have not started their life. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's not for you. If you're already this age, it will take you forever to enter financial independence if you are setting aside only 10% of your income. That information is not correct. It's not for you. Right? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Right? So please, it's important that you forgive me, please. That's what it is. Okay. I made a post. So that you understand that. So it's how much you are willing to set aside now as against how much you have, right? That is really about how much you are willing to set aside today, your net worth. You should begin where you are and then improve your earning power. All right. However, it won't matter how much you earn if you haven't learned how to build your net worth. Building your net worth, we have done that calculation under that table. You increase your assets, you reduce your liability. That's how your net worth will grow. Then the moment your net worth grows, you have enough to set aside. You bring down your liabilities, right? You stop incurring things that you don't need to. The second component of how much you will earn is how long you are willing to set it aside for. So the first one is how much you are willing to set aside now, the present value of money. Then how long you are willing to set it aside for, right? Time can be a multiplier. Time is a leveler when it comes to building wealth, right? You must be ready to set it aside for a very long time. The example I gave at the very beginning, if it's your 10 million to build a house inside the bush, you'll be the only one living there, no infrastructure all around. But those people who have taken that same money, they have multiplied money over, built their property now, and they are still collecting service charges from people that came into that dream years after. Right? So it is how much you are willing to set aside, then how long you are willing to set it aside for. How long are you willing to set money aside for? You must be willing to be in this game for the long term. You don't keep money for savings and at the end of the year you do dirty December and you are back to zero. You won't build wealth that way. You won't build wealth that way. It's not done that way. It's how long you are willing to set aside for. Then your financial future depends likely on three things. The first one is what? How much you are willing to set aside now. The second one is how long you're willing to set it aside for. There's a time component. And then your wealth building vehicle, right? What investment vehicle are you going to use? Is it stocks? Is it gold? Is it real estate? Is it bonds? Is it mutual funds? Is it exchange traded funds? What kind of things? Is it fixed deposit? Is it real estate? But you must understand the rule of thumb for investments primarily is that don't invest in what you don't understand. Don't invest in what you don't understand. If you can't explain how one becomes two, don't do it. Right? Let's ask our parents if they've lost money before in any of these Ponzi schemes. It's because somebody told them. In fact, the parents are even far. Some people did MMM now. But what you were greedy to ask, because sometimes when you swindle people, it's not always the fault of the swindler alone. There is the role that the person who is being swindled play in the matter. Right? Someone tells you, bring your 2,000 naira, you'll get 2 million naira in 1 week. You didn't ask the person, what kind of investment vehicle are you doing? That's why if you are financially intelligent, your money won't be in some of these things where they say, bring one person, bring two people, bring three people. Coca-Cola had been existing for more than 100 years. They are one of the most successful companies globally. They just focus on selling their product. And creating value. They don't. Do you bring one person to drink Coke and do that? You don't need all that. Serious investors don't do that. Can Warren Buffett be worrying about, did he make this money from bringing somebody, You should think about these things now. that the people who create those systems don't create it to build wealth. You are more intelligent than that. But sometimes the greed in doesn't make us ask those questions, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't invest in what you don't have control over. But really, the control of an individual is first of all the control of knowledge. Is insight now. If you can control insights, then you have control, really. Right. So investment vehicles vary in nature. However, the primary difference is the amount of risk, right? The amount of risk you are willing to take, right, is going to help you determine the kind of returns that you can expect, right? So how do you do with this investment thing? You study wide. You speak to a professional financial advisor. There are people that will give you this information for free, right? There are people who have been trained to do this. They will talk to you. You can plan your financial future. You're not too young, but you need to be informed. You need to study wide and be aware of these things, right? I think at this point I'm going to stop today. On my and I'm able I will gladly take questions at this point. But I suspect, for example, it's not by number of slides, but okay. I think I have just 8 more slides to go, but I'll complete it at another session. All right, whenever you're able to make the time happen. But did you get something? Was value communicated?
Very, very
Yes,
much,
yes,
sir.
yes,
Thank
yes, it
you
was.
so much.
Okay, so that's first
Now
principles.
I
We are
know
still
some things I don't have to spend my money on.
okay. So first principle. So let's take questions. Let's spend the rest of the evening taking questions. I will definitely complete this session. I'll find time to do it. Don't worry, we'll find time to do it. We actually tried to have this session as a physical session in church today, but for some reason we just couldn't do it. I've only got about since yesterday, between yesterday and the time we got to church, I think I've only had about 3 hours of sleep after working for about 14, 15 hour stretch yesterday, strategy session. So it was a long day, but I'm excited to be here. I can do this one forever. I can be talking like this to tomorrow. It's just time that constrains us. So I'll take time, but let's take questions. I'm happy to take questions or any comments or anything at all. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So you spoke about Brazilian hair.
Yeah.
I
So
don't get about that. So
okay.
I feel it's not Brazilian hair, not normally, but maybe human hair, sir. I don't want to say it's an asset in particular, but I feel that its advantage, it can be, and its advantage is, the ladies here, they can relate. Let me cite an example. Okay, I make hair, and with the way prices of things are going up, I can buy a Brazilian hair for 50,000 naira, and I'll use the hair. I have a particular hair I bought for around that rate, and I've been using it for the past 5 years, and just by maintenance, it has remained the same. Now, compare it to me buying normal attachments, sorry, hair extensions, and making braids every month. If you buy hair extension and making braids, on the average, you spend 10,000 naira per month. And that hair, before you know it, it's basically with 4 weeks, the hair is already showing another time, then you have to change it. But compare it to you buying a Brazilian hair from a hair that was 50,000 naira that I bought and I used for years. Now, it's an asset to me. I don't know if it should be transferred as an asset, but I see it as
good. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know who is speaking, please. Who just spoke?
Rosemary. This is Rosemary.
Okay, Rosemary. Yeah, so it's fine. And I want you to, one thing I'll say is you need to listen to me very well when I'm sharing with you. I said, number one, I said that a banking class I was teaching, they were the ones who said liabilities, who said a Brazilian hair was liability, right? Are we together? Do you remember I said that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So, yeah. So, and that audience is different from this audience. Are we in agreement?
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
do you also
do
you also remember that I said it's relative? I kept saying it over and over.
Yes. You
exactly.
did.
So it's relative, absolutely relative. So, for example, let's even take a car. You work as a marketer, for example, and you are closing accounts in hundreds of millions, you will not go to that place on a bike. Nobody will take you seriously. I'm sure you know that.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So, but at that point, again, the person goes to buy a Benz. He buys the Benz, let's say 55 million, right? But she's going to close a deal of, let's say 500 million. And her cut from it is 10% when she brings the deal to the organization. And her 10% is 50 million. Has she not made back the money from one deal?
Yes, yeah.
That information will spread that this is this person's profession. This person doesn't need to buy that car every year. And let's even say she's making that deal once a month. That's about 600 million naira that year. What is 50 million compared to, it doesn't make sense to you. So it's relative.
Yes.
So you have to look at your circumstances very well, right? But then where the issue is that the other danger then is that you can begin to justify the things that you do. I get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if we really want to go into the mathematics of it, if we really want to go, are you saying that during the course of that period that you use that Brazilian air, you did not, and a 50K Brazilian or human air is not expensive, if you understand what I mean. People wear plot of lands on their head.
That's true.
People wear
right, sir.
A comedian once said that how would the person not have a dick when he's wearing the plot of land of Ikorodu on his head? You know, they're on her head, the amount there. So it's not really. But again, if you want to go into the mathematics of it, during that period, you were not just carrying your hair you won't leave your hair like that. You were probably braiding it or twisting it or something. It will still cost some money, right?
Yes, sir.
So essentially, the place where there's a problem is you have done your cost benefit analysis and say, okay, it's cheaper for me on the long run when I have this than when I don't have it. Does it make sense to you? So,
Yes,
but if someone is buying a Brazilian hair or a human hair that he cannot afford, that she cannot afford, then the person is in trouble. The person is in trouble, right? And these are even the smaller matters. There are more serious matters in this financial journey. Right, that will address. But I think you remember how long I spent on quality education. I think that part was somebody needed that part, right? So that you can't spend that. So even if the person that sent you to school for your first degree program made an error because of the level of understanding they had, you are now out of the place. You can't be perpetuating error. You have to liberate yourself. Sometimes, and it might take a major leap. You might need to spend a lot of money to first get out of that class. I'm out of this. Then and the interesting thing is your money will come back to you. You don't spend that kind of money, and they hire you. And in fact, in some cases, you get a sign-on bonus that is probably 10 times how much you spent. But let's move on from that, right? Okay. So I hope I answered that question, Rosemary.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's take another one. Guys, in finance is knowledge. You have to ask questions if you truly want to get the most of it.
So what if, when we say expensive transportation, you cannot afford Uber, right? But you also feel that you can't sit inside bus. Like you can't just sit inside bus, but you can't afford it. You can't afford the Uber.
Okay, so I don't want to ask you your age. I don't want to ask you your age, but let's just assume, for argument's sake, that somebody on this call is like 25 years old, right? But if I've spoken by prophecy and I've gotten your age, you can let me know in my DM. So let's say the person is 25 years old. When was Uber? When did Uber come? When did Uber start?
Maybe to Nigeria, maybe about 8
10 years.
It has not been a long time like that.
Up to 10 years.
Okay, so
but it's more than
so
5
how
years.
was that? Yeah, so and that
It's
person
closer
has
to
been
10
moving
years.
around.
It's closer to 10 years.
Yeah, and that person has been moving around somehow.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So how
But
has
the
the
age
person?
differs now.
You said what, ma? What did you say?
I said the age differs now. There, the person was still small. Now the person is getting more matured and is feeling, I can't be entering bus. I can't be jumping bus.
Okay.
The person was entering
It's
daddy's
okay.
car.
Okay.
Good. What did you call it? I like the sound. What do you call it? What do you call
Daddy's
what the
car.
person was entering? Say it
Daddy's
again.
car. Daddy's
One
car.
more time. Again.
Daddy's car.
One
Daddy's
last
car.
time. Good.
Daddy's car.
Did you get the message?
Sir.
The
Yes,
message
sir.
clear. Good.
Yes, sir.
Good job. May your knowledge be permanent.
Amen.
Exactly.
Amen.
So, all right. I had a neighbor who told me that was it 2 years ago? Uber collated how much she has spent and sent to her at the end of the year last year. And I think it wasn't on business; it was just on personal movement. And she shook her head and said, "No more." Right? So it's relative. It's relative again. It's relative. If you earn 500K and your transportation expense by Uber is just 25,000 in a whole month, maybe you work remotely, but then you have to go to work once a week. Fine, take the Uber now. You're not going to die as long as you've done your calculation and it makes sense. But my point is, you cannot be earning 500K, spending 475,000, and saving 25,000. You will suffer. I'm not missing words. The person will suffer. The person will suffer. There is no way. The Bible calls that person a brother to a waster. Right? The person will suffer. That thing is not for your age. When they say save 10% of your income, which day will you crawl out of the hole? 10%. Can you just imagine 10% of your income? What would you do for you? It's not going to work, man. So, all right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other? Yes, ma'am.
So what should be the benchmark if it's not 10%
Of your income.
like just
Yes.
an average benchmark?
Good. What should
Our
be your
age.
benchmark? Yes. What should be your benchmark is where you are going.
Okay.
So, for example, you are 35. That's not your age. You are 35, but you want to retire by 50, and by retirement you want to have businesses, investments that can bring in money to you. Maybe you want to buy properties, you want to run a fashion business, you want to have a thriving logistic business, you want to have a farm, right? You just want to be able to do that at the comfort of your home and be able to pay for vacation, send your children to the kind of school that they want to go. You want to have money, but you also want to have time to do homework with your children, because those are priceless experiences. See, if your children leave your house and they don't have a connection with you. I was watching a video last week and the man was asked, how do you define a successful man? He said the most successful person is the person whose children want to come back to him after they have left. When you are old, that your children want to come and spend time with you, that's a successful man or a successful woman. And those things, it takes money sometimes to build. If you are going to have the time to be sitting at home, then you know that you cannot be working. If you are working in a bank, you can't be doing homework every day. You will have to hire someone to do the homework. I'm sure you know that, homework teacher. But if you want to be the one in their lives, teaching them maths, teaching them life values, telling them telling them don't do this. Yes, you want to have the money to be able to fund that lifestyle where you are not running out every day, but then you can afford that life. And it's possible. Now, imagine that you want to do that by 50 and now you are 35, right? And you are earning 500,000 naira a month, right? And as you are earning that, you have looked at your life that to be able to achieve that in the future, in 15 years' time, when you will be 50, you are going to need, let's say, 15 million naira. Right? 15 is, and that's really small. Let's say 50 million naira, 50 to be able to do that, or maybe 45 million, just so that the maths can be complete. Now, you need 15 years to earn 45 million naira. That is at about 3 million naira per year. If you save 3 million naira per year, you are 250K per month. 250K per month. This is how to think about it, right? So the 250K per month will get you to about 45 million naira by the age of 50. Now, that is just savings. So if you now put it in proper investment vehicle, it will take you to more than that, right? When you see it to financial advisor and they draw the thing for you, it will take you to more than that, right? You'll be able to get to your goals faster. But then you have the same goal. But there is another, you are 35, but there is another 15-year-old that has the same goal. He's 15. He learned this thing early. He's 15. He has 35 years to achieve that goal. He doesn't need to save as much as you to hit the same amount. He probably needs to do even less than half of what you are doing. Does it make sense? Does it
Yes,
make
sir.
sense?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that the bestseller, the number one habit of highly effective people is that they begin with the end in mind. And that's a limitation of human beings. People don't think. They don't think too deeply. Human beings don't think too deeply. They don't like it. Tell someone set a 1 year goal in school, set a 2 year old in school. When you start saying set a 5 year goal, you say, what are you saying? Please, I beg. Do you even know where we'll be? It's in the hand of God. But highly effective people begin with the end in mind. Before they start their career, they already know they will end this career in 20 years. They are coming out with this much money. They are setting up a bank, setting up a business, and that's it. Those things are clear in their mind, what they are trying to do. And every single step they take every day is drawing them closer to their dream. So by the time they are doing their 50th birthday, they are chairman of a bank, they are sitting on the board of a textile company, sitting on the board of one manufacturing business, doing this and doing that, and everybody's celebrating them. How did you do it? How did you do it? So it's just that he started thinking about it at 20. He had 30 years and he split the plan in 30 years. But you did not want to do it. You thought 30 years was too much to plan for. We'll still talk about personal effectiveness. It's one of the things I will share with you. Personal effectiveness, habits of highly effective people. You can be effective in life. Little thing you will do will be impactful. Little thing you will do will be impactful. Someone will meet you, spend only 5 minutes with you, their life will turn around forever. Those things are their life skills. That's why some ladies don't want to marry some guys. They've spent time with them. Say, this guy, no, there's nothing up there. It doesn't have anything to offer. It's not concerned about me. My wife would talk more about relationship and marriage. She's the expert in that area. I'll support her, but she's really the expert in that area. By the time she's done, you in fact, it's something else. All right. So, guys, it's about where you're going, where you are headed, right? And I think that's essentially it. So there's no rule, there's no average, there's no 5% times. No. Where are you going? Then you walk backwards and begin to plan it. That's how God works. God shows you the end. He showed Joseph the dream. I said, okay, now let's go and walk this dream. Let's act it out. Right? Which is why we do a lot of meditation. You lock in, it's like a navigation system. You lock in the end with confession. You lock it in. By the time I'm 50, I'm going to be worth $5 billion. You lock it in. Then you begin to walk towards it. You begin to walk backwards and begin to walk towards it. Yeah, that's how it is. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
sir,
sir.
it does. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I
All
do.
right. All right. I think we've had a fruitful time, and I think God has helped us. We would see what we can do. Okay, brother, he was asking for the investment vehicle wheel in the slide. Okay, yeah, I can send it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's no problem at all. I'll send that. The investment vehicle wheel, I'll send it. It's fine. I'll drop it on the group for you guys. Yeah.